If you're looking for step-by-step instructions on how to fill out a U.S. passport for your child age 17 or younger, then this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Ben Tennis. I own and run my own travel agency, and I create travel resource and information videos just like this one to help you plan for your next vacation. So if you find value in these type of videos, consider subscribing. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So step number 1, determine if you need a passport book or a passport card. Now, what's the difference between the two? Well, a passport book is going to give you access to just about anywhere in the world that you want to go. And a passport card is going to be much more restrictive. It only is going to give you access to land border crossings or seaports of entry from Canada, Mexico, the Caribbean, or Bermuda. So if you know you're just traveling back and forth between Mexico and Canada by vehicle, then a passport card would definitely make sense in that situation. Or likewise, if you're just a cruiser and you know you're traveling just to the Caribbean or Mexico or Bermuda, then that would also make sense for you as well. It certainly would be cheaper. Now, the one thing I would say about using the passport card is that you cannot use it for international air travel. So let's say you're at a port of call with a cruise and for some reason you didn't make it back to the ship in time, and the only way to get back home or the next port of call would be the airline. You would not be able to use the passport card, the airline. So keep that in mind when you're deciding which one to apply for. Now, you can apply for both, so if that makes sense for you, definitely do so. So let's go ahead and go on to step number 2, which is fill out form DS11. Now, where can you find this form? You can find this form on the U.S. passport website at travel.state.gov. I'll link the website in the description below so you can easily find it there. So once you get on that website, this is what it'll look like when you get on there. So you just click on U.S. passports and you'll scroll down here and you'll apply for children under 16. Or if your child is 16 to 17, you would click this link here. But we'll just go for children under age 16 here. And it'll be the same form either way, but you can find it on either link. So once you get there, you'll find the first point here is fill out form DS11. You'll just click the plus sign here, and you'll have two options. One is the form filler. So this form you can fill out online and then print it out. And this one is just to print out a blank DS11 form. I would highly recommend you use the form filler because it will tell you exactly what you need to fill out. And the other thing you can do if you don't have access to a printer is you can pick one up at your local post office as well. Also, when you're completing the form, you'll need your child's social security number, so make sure you have that on hand. And if for some reason, if your child does not have a social security number, then you'll need to submit a statement signed and dated. That includes this highlighted phrase here. And then you would submit that along with your child's application when you go in person to apply. And one important thing to note is that when you have completed the form, do not sign the form until you have been instructed to do so when you go to apply in person. So moving on to step number 3, you'll need to provide U.S. citizenship evidence. So you'll need to submit one of the following: a U.S. birth certificate, a consular report of birth abroad or certification of birth, meaning that your child acquired U.S. citizenship or nationality at birth but were born abroad, a certificate of naturalization only if your child is 16 or 17 years of age, and a certificate of citizenship. So whichever document you are going to be bringing, it has to be the original or certified physical copy. As well, and this is important, you'll need to bring a photocopy of that document as well, front and back if there's information on the back. So when you're doing the photograph or photocopy, it'll need to be on the standard 8.5 by 11 paper, black and white and single-sided. So moving on to step number 4 is show parental relationship or awareness. Now, if you're 16 or 17 and you have your own ID, then you can apply for a passport without a parent going with you when you apply in person. But you will need to show that at least one parent or guardian is aware that you're applying for a passport with one of the following. So you need to bring with you a signed note from your parent or legal guardian with a photocopy of their ID. Or you can submit proof that your legal parent or legal guardian is paying your application fees, such as a check or money order with their name written on it. Or your parent can actually go with you, and then they will be asked to sign the form and they will need to submit a photocopy of their ID. Now, if you're applying for a child that is under the age of 16, then you must submit documentation that lists you as the parents or legal guardians of the child applying for a passport by showing one of the following: a U.S. birth certificate, a consular report of birth abroad or certification of birth, a foreign birth certificate, an adoption decree, or divorce or custody decree. But just make sure that whichever one you are going to show, that is the original or certified copy and not photocopies. Now going on to step number 5 is present ID. If you are 16 or 17 and have one of the following IDs, then you need to present it. Otherwise, your parents will need to present one of these IDs. An in-state fully valid driver's license, a fully valid undamaged U.S. passport. It can be expired. A certificate of naturalization or citizenship, U.S. military ID or military dependent ID, government employee ID on any level, city, county, state, or federal, a valid foreign passport, Mexican consular identification commonly used by the parent of a U.S. citizen child, a trusted traveler ID including global entry, FAST, Century, and Nexus cards, or an enhanced tribal card or Native American tribal photo ID. Now, whichever one you're going to be bringing, just make sure you also bring a photocopy of whichever ID you're going to present. It needs to be on the standard 8.5 by 11 white paper, single-sided. And now step 6 is show parental consent. Now, if your child is 16 or 17 years of age, then you can skip this step and move on to step number 7. Otherwise, if your child is under 16 years of age, then both parents of the child must authorize the issuance of the child's passport. And the best way to do this is for both parents or legal guardians to go with the child in person to apply for the passport. Now, if both parents cannot appear in person, then refer to the website for instructions, and I'll show you exactly where you need to go. So going back to the main passport page at travel.state.gov, under U.S. passports here, you'll scroll down and apply for children under 16, and we'll go down to show parental consent. Yeah, so once you go to number 7 here and open it up, right here it says, what if both parents, guardians cannot appear in person? It'll give you an if-then scenario. So whichever scenario you fall into, it'll give you the instructions on what to do next. So step number 7 is provide a photo. You must provide one photograph with your child's application. Now you can get one done at a CVS or Walgreens for about $12 to $15. And some passport acceptance facilities do offer photo services for an additional fee. You would just have to check to see if that service is available. Or you could use your phone and take the photograph of your child yourself. Now you would have to meet the following requirements. And I also link a quick video here to give you some tips if you're going to be taking the photo yourself. But here are the requirements. Your photo must be a color photo taken in the last 6 months. Has to be a clear image of yourself. Do not use filters that are used on social media. No selfies. If your child wears glasses, make sure those are off. Use a plain white or off-white background. Now your child can have either a neutral facial expression or a natural smile, but both their eyes need to be open. Your child cannot wear a uniform, and they must be in clothing they wear on a daily basis. And the correct size of a passport photo is 2 by 2 inches, and it needs to be printed on a matte or glossy photo quality paper. They cannot wear a hat or head covering. Now, if it is for religious purposes, then you'll need to submit a statement that verifies that the hat or head covering is part of a religious attire used daily for religious purposes. Now, they can wear jewelry and keep facial piercings as long as they do not hide their face. And lastly, this is important, if your child is under 16 years of age, do not attach their photo to the form. And going on to step number 8 is calculate fees. Now I'll show just a quick overview of the fees here, but the best way to calculate it is actually to go back on the U.S. passport site, and I'll show you exactly where you need to go. So back on the U.S. main passport site, if you scroll down and go back to children under age 16 and go down to number 9, which is calculate fees, hit the plus sign here, and if you go down to this link right here called passport fees and to fee calculator. So this fee calculator works for any age group, so it doesn't matter if your child is 17 or 2 years old, you can use this. So you just fill this out. I'll just show you quickly what it looks like here. Where do you currently reside? You just hit United States. date of birth. We'll just pick a date here. Have you ever had a U.S. passport? No. And hit next. And then you can decide whether you want the passport book, passport card, or both. And it shows you the fees there. We'll just pick passport book. And you can choose the processing method of a standard 10 to 12 weeks. An expedited one if you need to leave sooner. That's 4 to 6 weeks. And an even more expedited process if you must travel in the next 72 hours. So we'll just do standard here. We'll just choose standard delivery and hit calculate. So this will tell you exactly what you need to pay when you go to apply in person. So for the passport book, if you're going to be doing check, it can be personal, certified, cashiers, or travelers, and money orders payable to the U.S. Department of State. Credit card and debit cards cannot be used to pay this fee. Now the execution fee, which is paid separately, that can be paid by credit or debit card, check, or cash. Now if you're paying cash, make sure you bring the exact change, because sometimes the facility does not have change they can give back to you. So just keep that in mind. And finally, step number 9, submit your completed application. So you must submit your completed application, which is the DS-11 form, including citizenship evidence, your ID, and photocopies of those, a picture photo, and all your fees. Bring all those in person at a passport acceptance facility. Now, if you're applying for a child under the age of 16, then you and your child must go in person at a passport acceptance facility. Now, where can you find a facility to apply at? Well, I'll link you back here to the U.S. passport website. So once you're here, you'll scroll down to number 10 here, submit your completed application. Go across here, hit the plus sign, and you'll click this link here, passport acceptance facility. And then once here, you can enter by zip code, and that'll give you all the facilities where you can apply at. And once you have applied for your application, you can also track the application status at the next point here, number 11, and just click the link here. So once you have submitted your application, you can expect to receive one of these in the mail in about 10 to 12 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what processing time you chose, along with any documents that you ended up submitting to the passport facility. Now, your child's passport is good for 5 years if they're under the age of 16, and 10 years if they are age 16 or 17. Now, if you're getting your passport because you plan on taking a trip in the near future and are looking for some help in your trip planning, allow myself to offer up my services to you as a travel agent. I would love to help you out in any way I can, whether that's booking just a small portion of your trip or planning and booking your entire trip for you. In either case, I'd love to help you out if you need it. And if you never used a travel agent before, or maybe you're just unsure about using a travel agent, check out my video series titled Everything You Need to Know About Using a Travel Agent, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of the answers you're looking for in those videos. So if you have any questions or need clarity about anything I covered today about passports, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll make sure to answer them when I see them. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.